Hey everyone, welcome to week 19 of my 6-month podcast series where I'm diving into all the things having left my day job back in March. And now I'm fully diving into building my businesses so that it can sustain me and I can be forever full-time self-employed. So I'm diving into all the strategies that I'm putting into place, all the systems that I'm putting into place, and the mindset that I'm cultivating throughout this time. And I had in the beginning set some pretty lofty goals for myself, I feel like. So let's break it down in this episode, okay? I'm pretty sure, I didn't listen back to it, but I'm pretty sure my three big goals for this 6-month segment was to book a $10,000 paid speaking engagement. That is definitely still one of my goals. It's either that, or if I don't hit that, the backup is 5 paid speaking engagements. Quick update on that. I do have some speaking engagements in the pipeline, but they're all free speaking engagements right now. And I'm kind of limiting myself to one major free speaking engagement per month, especially if it's a traveling engagement. But that's really so I can get the reps in, right? So I can continue to build the relationships. I can continue to prove my presence as an established speaker, get the content and throw that content all over the place. So totally fine doing that. I understand the power of getting your reps in and that that's ultimately needed. So that's definitely still one of my goals. I believe I I think I had 500 members by the end of the year, but then 300 members by the end of the 6-month period. Honestly, full transparency, our momentum with the membership, I feel like I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, has kind of taken a hit in momentum because I've been so focused on the back end of things. And I think that's why it's been such a roller coaster, you guys, these past couple of months of what this has all felt like for me and trying to figure it all out, trying to put all the systems in place. And it really got me thinking. I feel like I finally got some clarity on what I need to do moving forward. And if you see behind me, I actually brought back my little cork board, which was over there in the back corner of the wall. And I said, okay, you know what I need to do? Because I feel like I know that I'm working on the things that matter in terms of making sure our business, like all of the little facets of the businesses that I'm creating, it's going to be scalable in the future. And I am so sure that like how important it is to just build the foundation, right? And this is something that I've been supporting my clients with about building their foundation, figuring out what their brand ecosystem is. And I realized, you know what? I should do that for myself because I feel like I've been in this space where I've been really hard on myself, where I've been feeling the doubt a lot, where I've been feeling very scattered. And I really just need to take a step back and kind of break down this high level overview of what it is that I'm creating, what my brand ecosystem looks like, so that I stop feeling like such a mess in the work that I'm doing. And it's okay that I'm in the messy part. I'm in the messy middle. That's probably something that you've heard a lot of entrepreneurs say because it exists, because it's real. So if you're out there and you're also kind of feeling like, why does it feel so messy? Why does it feel like there's so much going on? It's okay if you're in the trenches because that's a part of the journey. And if you are never in the trenches, you're either not challenging yourself or you're not working on building something that will sustain long term. And that's what we want. So what I ended up doing was taking this cork board behind me. If you're watching on YouTube or watching the video format on whatever podcast platform, you can see behind me my cork board and I have all my Post-its. I literally did this in the middle of the night a few days ago because I was just like, okay, I really need to get organized in my head. And I broke down what are my core offers? What is my signature offer, right? So we have the main coaching offer, we have the membership, but then with the signature offer, am I going to create a little freebie with that? Like, what is my lead gen going to be? And that's to create this workshop. I'm going to be doing a webinar with Score. I'm not sure if I mentioned that previously, but I'm going to be doing a webinar with Score the first week of August, which I'm really, really excited for. And I'm going to be creating a workshop all about how to get creative with your visibility strategy, right? And I'm going to duplicate that for our community as well. So I'm creating this offer where I'm welcoming in people to learn a little bit more about what my coaching style is, what my instructing style is, and to give them a sneak peek into what it could potentially look like to work with me over 6 months. So that is going to be my main lead generation thing, which will ultimately go into the signature offer of what I'm supporting my clients with now. At some point, I do have on my board, I will have some kind of low ticket offer for the coaching side of my business. And that's something that I'll focus on when I come to focus on it. Then there's the membership. What kind of value adds? What do I need to build out? What are all the automation things? So there's kind of like columns of like, this is the offer. This is the automation that I need to put in place. And this is what the automation is going to lead into next. So having written all of that out on these little Post-its and kind of placed it out has given me so much clarity, you guys, like so much clarity. So now whenever I feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What should I be working on next? I'm looking at that board and saying, okay, has this been built out? Has this been built out? If the things that are on my mind, the projects that I have in my mind, because we all know that I have a lot of thoughts running through my mind every single second of the day. If it has nothing to do with what is on this board, then it's a shiny object. It is kind of just like another bell and whistle that doesn't necessarily, it's not something fundamental to the foundation that I'm building, right? This is the foundation. For those of you that are just listening, I keep pointing to the board behind me. That board behind me, that is the foundation of my brand ecosystem, and that is what I need to focus on building. So I am super excited for that. So my revised 3 main goals for this 6 months, I guess kind of 6 months, yeah. The speaking engagement, that hasn't changed. 300 members, that hasn't changed, and to properly build out my coaching offer. So that is well on its way. I've already started working on creating the presentation for the SCORE webinar and for the webinar that I'm going to be providing our community. And there's just a lot I need to do in terms of like building out the email sequences and then having the sales pages that lead to all the things. So I'm excited once that finally gets put together. And then the secondary goals is now the book, finishing the book. That was one of my previous primary 3 goals. But that is right now, looking at the overall scope of thing, completing the book is a shiny object. It is not something that is essential to the foundation of my business. So that is on the back burner because I want to make sure that I'm spending the time on the things that are really, really going to move the needle forward regarding building out the membership or providing me financial stability. So that's on the back burner. And then I recognize that I also want to make sure that we do have a built out sponsorship program. That's kind of like a back burner task, but also it's not. So I'm going to be allocating an hour every week to make sure I'm still doing outreach to sponsors. I attended another free sponsorship webinar yesterday or the day before, and it just like reignited the notion that we can get some large sponsors and that will cover a lot of our costs with the events that we want to put together, with the podcast that I want to relaunch, with just overall running Empowered by Women. And that would take like a huge weight off in terms of making sure that we're bringing enough revenue so that I can continue being full-time self-employed. So I did start reaching out to a couple of banks yesterday. I polished up our sponsorship deck for our November summit, and I'm just super excited for the possibilities. For those of you that are listening, if you aren't, familiar with sponsorship, there are people that get huge sponsorship checks from big companies to fund their podcast, to fund their events, to fund their travel. They're traveling all across the world to fund whatever fun project they got going on. You could find another company that has the money to sponsor you so that you're not worrying about covering the costs on your own or monetizing it for chump change, for lack of a better word. And that's really what I want to do. Luckily, with our annual summit that we did last year, like I didn't go negative. I still profited and I spent so little money compared to what a lot of people will spend on summits. And this time I do want to go bigger and I want to go better and I do want to increase our budget, but I also want to make sure that it's more profitable, right? I want to make sure that the people that we're bringing on, the people that I'm co-hosting with, that I can continue to support them financially and compensate them appropriately. I want to be able to compensate our speakers. I want to be able to compensate any of the small businesses that we bring on, as opposed to really leaning on the small businesses to do the in-kind sponsorships, do the smaller monetary sponsorship. I want the large corporations that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank just ready to be like handed out to smaller companies like us. Like I want them to cover all of the expenses so that we can funnel it back to the small businesses around us and to the women around us. So I don't want to not work on building out our sponsorship program. So I'm starting to pick up the momentum a little bit in terms of outreach for that. I haven't really made a ton of oh my gosh, you guys, this mom brain is going to end at some point, I promise you. I haven't really made a ton of progress on my build out for the automations for my speaking outreach. It's just, again, I need to focus on what's on this board. And although that is a goal of mine to get a $10,000 paid speaking engagement, in my brand ecosystem, like speaking is definitely a part of the revenue that's coming in. But of all the things that are on this board, like building out that system is also a little bit of a shiny object, right? Because I can still do manual outreach and I don't need that system to prevent me from doing manual outreach. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's been an interesting balance of constantly reprioritizing, okay, like this is done and now we need to move on to this, and kind of building things out simultaneously. So if I'm totally losing you guys, don't worry. Let's go ahead and let's move on. What else happened this past week? We had our virtual networking event last week in partnership with Harvest Goal Collective, which is another community down in SoCal, and they do accountability groups. They do meetups. Highly recommend. Stephanie is the founder. She is absolutely incredible. And after our virtual networking event, me and Stephanie, we stayed on the call for a little bit longer, and she kind of gave me a little bit more insight into what she's been doing with her community. And this is the power of just building relationships with other people that are doing similar things to you, okay? And really taking the thought of competition out of it, because you truly can learn from each other. And it's not like you're just copying each other. It's really like, what is working for them? How can I apply it to mine, but continue to offer what my vision is, right? So it was so refreshing and just interesting seeing like, oh, these are all the things that she's putting in place for her members. And also me allowing me to reflect on how can I continue to value add for our own members, right? To give them even more of a platform and even more of a spotlight and even more opportunity for connection. So I'm excited to see what that all looks like. But in terms of events, I'm definitely not adding anything new to the plate right now. Again, those are a little bit of shiny objects. We're focusing on our two big events. We have a big wellness summit happening in October. That is going to be in partnership with our member Danielle of the Wellness Affair. So if anyone is curious about what the Wellness Summit is, reach out to me. We're lining up our sponsors now. We would love to have you be a part of it. And then we have our November summit, which is going to be so much fun. Like I am so freaking excited. These are definitely two completely different kinds of summits and they're going to be amazing. So super excited for that. Okay. What else did I do? I also recently signed up for an AI social selling challenge with Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield. You guys know that I've been obsessing over AI lately. And so now I'm just really in this like learner mindset of what can I do? Or I just want the door of information to continue to be pried open, right? So that I can, as I'm building out my own systems, really put my best foot forward and build the most productive system, the most efficient and effective system for myself. And so I can get a better understanding of the AI world and ultimately better support my clients, right? Because what I do with my coaching clients is offer them creative strategy in terms of how are they building their brand visibility. And this can look so different for each of my clients depending on what industry they're in. What are their goals? How are they wanting to show up? What are their main offers, right? What does their brand ecosystem look like? So there's potentially like a content creator that I'm going to be working with. There's potentially this spiritual healer that I'm going to be working with. There are all of the women that I'm currently speaking to are in such different industries, so that the way that they get visible is going to look different, right? And for some of them, a big part of getting visible is wanting to really optimize how they're showing up in the digital space. And I want to be able to support them with that, right? So I've really seen just like the power of ChatGPT and how you can optimize it in your favor without losing your voice. And this is something that I really want to just emphasize to everyone that's listening that still is not sold on AI. You will not get more money or a shiny medal or whatever just because you are thinking about your caption for an hour longer than everyone else that's using ChatGPT. You can still use your voice. You can still keep it incredibly authentic. You get to train AI to speak in your voice and to be formatted the way you want it to be formatted so that it's not all this generic ChatGPT format or whatever AI platform you're using. And that's what I really want to be able to support my clients with, is that there are so many tools that you can use to streamline your process so that you are really focusing on getting your message across and letting these resources, letting these tools take that message and amplify it across the proper audiences and build your visibility that way, as opposed to you doing all the heavy lifting of having to reach out to a million people, right? So the digital aspect is a part of it, right? How are you properly portraying your message in the online space, whether that's your copy, whether that's how you create your reels, whether that's how you're showing up on LinkedIn, whatever it is, how you're repurposing your content, and how can you do it in a smarter, more efficient way. And it's also about collaborations, right? Different partnerships. Who are you wanting to work with? And are you only looking at one version of how you can work with someone, right? So for us, we have our members, obviously, and word of mouth has been an amazing thing. So how are we leveraging word of mouth? We have a referral program, right? So if people are talking about us, we have an incentive to give them to continue talking about us. I've also invited some of our members and our team as affiliates. So then now that they have an affiliate link, right? Because now they're a little bit more integrated into our platform and they have an even bigger incentive to share our message. So we have that built out partnership. Collaborations, we do a whole lot of collaborations at Empowered by Women. So that's co-hosting events. That's bringing them on to our events in different ways. Maybe they're vendors, maybe they're sponsors. Maybe we're going to go be a part of their event in some capacity. What does that look like, right? Podcasts are great collaboration tools. But we've also partnered with different organizations that also kind of support a similar audience to the people that we're supporting, right? So Empowered by Women, we have our logo and our backlink on multiple different websites that are not our own, right? So we have CoBiz, who's one of our co-working partners in Richmond. We're listed as one of their resources. There's a couple of other websites that I am trying to get on to be listed as a resource so that we are backlinked and anyone that goes onto their website can find us without us having to do anything, right? So I'm trying to secure us on a few other websites. We're also on Harvest Goal Collective's website as like another resource and community that they love and support. So those are the types of conversations that I have with my clients of what could this possibly look like for you, right? Are you a speaker? Are you a workshop host? Who hosts retreats that are aligned with your audience, right? Who has, maybe you are a speaker and you like to do all of these things, but you also have a book, Are there other authors that you can collaborate with where you're bringing, where you're leveraging each other's audiences, right? And compounding how many people you can get your message across to. So all of those different conversations where we can really get creative with how are we getting visible and how are we getting visible to the right people and to the people that really excite us. And so I've just been super lit up, and I feel like this AI social selling challenge that I just recently signed up for, I don't feel like it gave me a ton of new information, which I think is kind of a good thing because that means the work that I'm doing, the research that I'm doing is really giving me an advantage because I am learning a lot and my eyes are really, really open to the possibilities now. But the great thing about the social selling challenge is that if you know me, like, I don't take challenges lightly, okay? So I was like, if I'm gonna sign up for this challenge, like, I'm really gonna show up. Whatever, if you tell me to post something all 3 days, like, I'm gonna go out there and post something. And so I took their first prompt on the first day. I created a reel right away for whatever it is that I created. Got some great feedback. And then yesterday, I had literally so many back-to-back calls that I had to like I cut into the workshop a little bit and I missed the beginning. So I kind of want to rewatch that one. And today my son has been home. He's been sick. He has a fever. So I had to miss this one, but I've still been committed to posting and using AI to support me. And I'm gonna go in and watch their replays as well and just follow the prompts and do what they say and see what happens, right? Because we don't always need to reinvent the wheel. And with everything that's on my plate, I want to work smarter, not harder. And I've gotten really good at working with ChatGPT in a way that everything it's spitting out to me is going to feel good to me. Like I am not going to share something that doesn't seem like something that I would say. And I've gotten so good at prompting it right, right, and training it right. We have one of our girls in our membership, and we did like a little personal session for her for one of our community calls. It was a Tuesday call, and our Tuesday calls are a little bit smaller groups than our Monday calls. And she was the only one that showed up on Tuesday, which is totally fine because I love a one-on-one session, or I guess a two-on-one session. And Nikki was with me. But one of the things that we were working with her about is, she kind of felt like a little bit scattered with how she was showing up and she was trying to create this content strategy for herself. And she was really focused on like one aspect of it, but you really want to keep in mind, like, what does your life look like 10 years down the line? What do you want it to look like? What do you want? Who do you want to be 10 years down the line? And you need to start adjusting the way that you show up now to mold into that version of you 10 years down the line. So the content that she had in mind was just to sustain what she was already doing in her current self, but not to nurture her future self. So I showed her a few prompts of, okay, this is what you can do to simplify it to nurture and sustain what you're currently doing. But then this is a prompt that you can use so that you can start incorporating all of these other things that you're wanting to do in the future, because she's wanting to potentially sell digital products, maybe some consulting in the future. And even if she doesn't have an offer now, right now, she can still start nurturing people and building her audience of people that would be interested in buying that offer once it's ready to launch. You don't want to just wait until it's ready to launch to then start building your audience. You want to nurture them ahead of time. So now she has these incredible prompts that she can use to kind of nurture both sides of it. So I'm so excited. You guys, I'm so excited for the future. I'm so excited for what's possible, and I'm so excited to just continue learning more about AI. I literally posted just these I posted something today, I posted something yesterday, and I have more ideas under my belt. And literally, I already have two people that have reached out to me from the content these past couple of days because, for one, again, I'm using AI to optimize the way that I'm showing up. I'm being really authentic, and I am being very intentional with the way that I am positioning myself so that I'm visible to the right people, so that I'm building the trust in the right way, and so that people understand what my offer is, right? Because that's a part of the visibility too. Clarity for yourself and clarity for the people that you are selling to. So I am just so excited. So excited. Oh my gosh, I just realized I didn't say one thing. I did get another client, a new client. So round of applause to me and my first pay in full client, which celebrating that hard. Okay. So I landed her last week and we're going to get started next week. We're actually supposed to chat today, but like I said, Sammy's been home sick and I canceled our call today. So we're getting started next week. And I have some potential folks in the pipeline, some very hot leads that hopefully we'll be getting started with in the very, very near future. So I'm just so excited for the possibilities. And I know it's been such a roller coaster these past few months, these past few episodes that you've been listening in on. And I probably have sounded like a hot mess in a lot of them. And that is just the reality of it sometimes. But again, that's why we need to come back to what is our goal, right? Who do we want to be in the future? What do we want to create? Not just now, but what kind of lifestyle, what kind of business do we want to create for ourselves long term? And being able to build out this ecosystem and get this high level overview of these are the things that you need to build out so that it is running smoothly and like clockwork for you. Like that is essential. So I'm so excited for once my presentation is finally ready to go so that I can share it with you all, so that I can share it with all the people that attend the SCORE webinar. And it's going to be freaking amazing. Okay. Let me see. Oh, another thing that I did with my coaching. So I don't like to say I do sales calls. I don't feel like they're sales calls. What I do is I reach out with my offer to people that I know that I already want to work with for the most part. They're either members. I have reached out to some people that are not members that I've connected with, but I did take a look at like, what is their brand? How are they showing up? And then some people I did go ahead and just send them the offer or very casually, send them a DM or send them an Instagram saying like, hey girl, love your brand. Just wanted to let you know I've opened up a few slots to take on a couple of new coaching clients this month. And you were one of the people that I would love to support. So just wanted to see if you would be interested. A quick overview is, it's really about building your brand visibility, building the foundation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Very, very short and sweet outreach. And there are some people, of course, that are saying now is not the right time, but definitely something that I'm interested in the future, or I don't have the financial capacity right now. Again, totally okay. But then there's the other half of it that are like, yes, I'm interested. Please send me more information. So I keep it very permission based. And I don't just like send all the materials right away and tell them how much it is, like in the very first thing. I'm just piquing their interest, seeing if that's something that they feel like could potentially support them. I wait for them to give me permission to send over more information. And then I do send over, I have a little Canva link of the overview of what our time together would entail. And then I also, in that same email, include my booking link. That's basically saying, once you look it over, if it feels good to you, let's hop on a clarity call. And by the time they get on a call, they already know how much it is. They already know what it's going to be to work with me and like what they're getting out of it. And the clarity call is really like, okay, let's go ahead and just, you get to tell me what your goals are. And I get to start racking my brain of how I'm going to support you. So by the time we have our actual official first session, we can hit the ground running. So it's interesting because I have moved from 1 hour collaboration calls, maybe like a year ago. And then I broke it down to 30 minutes, not that long ago. But then for these clarity calls and for the calls, the calendar that I've opened up for event organizers that will potentially book me to speak and sponsors that will potentially sponsor all of the things that we have to offer, I've broken it down into 15 minutes. And I am doing it on Calendly now because Calendly offers a buffer before and after your calls, which Google does not do. Google, shame on you, like up your game. I really needed that buffer. And so when I found out about it, I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'm back on Calendly, but I adjusted it to a 15-minute slot because again, this is not a sales call. Like I am getting them in already hot and ready and interested in potentially buying and working with me. Like they are excited to work with me. And this is just like the final nudge, the final permission slip to say like, yes, girl, it's going to be good. I'm going to support the heck out of you. You tell me your goals and we'll break it down and I'll throw some strategies your way and we'll make sure that you have this beautifully built out brand ecosystem and foundation by the end of our 6 months together so that you can continue showing up and building very authentic, very organic visibility to the people that you want to be visible in front of. So I think that just little mindset shift, it's not about like how long you're chatting with them. I have been nurturing these clients as for years, right? Without even really knowing it. This coaching offer it feels still very brand new to my world, but these people are not new in my world. Not all of them, some of them are. But I've built up such a presence in our community and in the digital space to position myself as someone that is trustworthy and someone that brings results and someone that comes high energy and fully ready to back you and cheer you on from the rooftop and just yell your name in a room full of opportunity. And that's powerful. And that's so cool to get to reflect on. I'm gonna totally like at the end of the 6 months, I'm gonna need to like listen back to everything because I feel like there's been so many just like transformational little moments that I've had in my mindset and the way that I perceive things and the way that I'm viewing my own business and how I want to keep showing up that just feels so powerful. And all of this that I'm going through, like that's part of that. So I am so excited. I don't know how many times I've said I'm excited, but I am so excited. All right. So we're going to end it there. I thought this was going to be a really long episode, but I'm kind of glad it's not. I need to go pick up my baby girls and I need to make sure baby boy is okay and sleeping and not screaming his head off looking for me. But as always, thank you for tuning in. If any of what I'm saying is piquing your interest and you are wanting to get more support, getting visible, getting clarity, building out your own brand ecosystem, shoot me a DM seriously because I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing the outreach for my clients in this current season. Once I'm done chatting with these few people, I might kind of pause on the outreach, focus on them, and then reopen in a couple of months. So do not hesitate. Like I said, you can start nurturing your dream clients for a future offer now, right? Or even for your existing offers. You can start now because that visibility, we want to get you the visibility that you deserve, girl, because you are amazing and what you offer is amazing and that you have so much lived experience the world needs to hear. And I just want to help you step into your power. Okay. So shoot me a DM. If you're listening to this podcast, I would love, love, love if you could take a quick little screenshot, post it, tag us, we'll repost it, share it with the people that you know this will help, that you know are also in the trenches, that you know is potentially considering quitting their job or has recently quit their job so they can pursue their passions full time. Just go ahead and share it. Be amazing. And I will see you next week.